Waiting for it. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Thursday live stream. Today we're going to start off a little different than we normally do because my rental, or my borrow, of the clone, the Origin Effects Halcyon Gold, officially ended yesterday. So that one's going back. And what's cool is I can pick out whatever I want next. So I'm going to have you guys help me with this because that seems like fun. Makes things a little bit more interesting too, because it's just whatever, and maybe you'll find something that I'm interested in that I had no idea I would be interested in, and that's going to be something that we can all kind of browse around with and figure out in a minute after I say hello and some other stuff to get started. We'll get right into that, and you can follow along by clicking the link that is either in the description, or I actually posted a message that has the link in it. So if you want to get a head start while I'm doing this, if you want to look around and see what's available so you can make a recommendation or a request, you can do that there. So let's see. Markleford. Obviously a wah-wah pedal. You can make good use of it with your funky rhythm side. You know, I've had a wah-wah pedal for as long as I've had the Music Man amp. It was one of the first pedals next to a DS1 that I ever bought. The DS1 is long since sold. The wah-wah pedal, I still have it. I don't like them. I think if I played funk a little bit more like subtly, like if I wasn't such a busy guitarist, because I'm pretty busy when I'm playing, as in there's a lot going on, I think I would like a little bit more. But it just, for me, the wah, it don't work. I've tried. I'm never gonna sell the pedal because I've had it since I was a kid, but it's not something I've ever really connected with. Who knows? Maybe for leads. Maybe it'll cover up the fact that I'm not one of these virtuosos on YouTube. +1 for the wah fits me. And in theory it does. And a fuzz would be an interesting take, because the fuzz pedal is something I don't have right now. And seeing as though I love Jazz Masters so much, the rhythm circuit, when used with a fuzz pedal, gets some super like warm velvety tones that I'm a huge fan of. So that'd be cool. Let me know. Load it up. When we load it up, we'll see which ones they have. Hello, Greg. How's it going? Maybe some modulation delay reverb for the E-drum kit. Yeah, the drums are back up. How cool is that? What I'm thinking for that, though, is actually, if we do a compressor pedal, I think that's way, way cool, because I could have that routing and then use the compressor pedal, if it's a good one, if something based on like a 1176 or something like that, or one of the Universal Audios, or there's lots of cool pedals where if you run the full mix of the drums into that, a lot of the times you just use a plug-in to do it, or a real, dedicated piece of rack gear. But a pedal, I think we might be surprised by that if it's a quality one. So that would be something I'd be interested in too. But yeah, no, it's whatever. Like this is the fun of this. The fun of this is that we really can just do stuff we wouldn't normally do, because I don't have to commit to buy any of this stuff. And that's why I like the Buy Our Bar Music stuff, and why I reached out to them to begin with, because I thought it was a really cool idea. And then hello to Greg and the gang. I hope you're all doing well. Today started in a funny way. And before we load up the site, I'm just going to say this. The JV Jazzmaster that I decided I was going to sell a month and a half ago, 2 months, I just lowered the price on it to right under $3,000. I got an offer this morning of $1,000 for it. And I kind of laughed at the guy. Like, no, we're not doing that. And there's no offers enabled on the listing. But the long and short of it is, I think I'm starting to lean towards, I think I'm just going to keep it. Because if I can't get like that much for it, and I see other Jazz Masters that are not nearly as rare, or even have Jazz Master pickups from Japan from later eras selling for more than that, like, maybe it's just not meant to be. Maybe I should just keep it. I have no problems with it. I was just thinking in terms of money. So, yeah, keep all 3 JVs if it doesn't sell where it's at. All right. And hello, Marcus. Okay, guys, so here's what we're going to do. The last one we did, we get right into the pedal stuff. I just wanted to get that note out there about the Jazz Master in case the listing goes down. you'll know why. I've just been like, whatever. It's not going to sell. It's not going to sell. We did a drive pedal last time. We did the Origin Effects, Halcyon Gold, and I ended up loving the thing to death. I don't want to do a drive pedal, only because I don't feel like it's really, I don't know. It's not that it's not necessary, but we just did one. So I encourage you, when we click onto the site, to follow along and get as creative as you can. Find something funky, or find something that, it's just different. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really intrigued by Chase Bliss because I've never tried one of their pedals, and it's kind of like out of my wheelhouse. But I think it would be fun to try and tackle something that can be extremely complicated, at least by the looks of it. You're mainly into dirt or chorus, so chorus. Chase Bliss mood. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to load up the site right now. You guys want to play along, or if you're watching the restream, you can click in the description, and you can leave a comment if you find anything while we're doing this. So, all right. So you guys want to see Chase Bliss. Well, we'll look at what Chase Bliss stuff they have, period. Now, the internet's going to go a little slow because I'm also streaming right now. All right. So we have the mood. The Automate, I don't know. I don't know what that does. That's a preamp. See? Yep. Don't know what I'm looking at. Dark World, dual channel reverb. That sounds kind of spacey. A stereo reverb. So I'm guessing that's more of a traditional one. A trem, which I already put on my list because I love trems. An analog delay. Up. There it is. And a harmonizer. See, but look at this. Used, it's $480. Or I can just borrow it, and then if I don't like this thing, I don't have to keep it. I'm not out $480, and I don't have to worry about reselling it and then needing me shipping. Okay, really cool. What is this thing's claim to fame? Bucket Brigade. Yeah, it's gonna be weird, man. It's gonna be weird. Okay. You go back here. You know what I need to do while I do this? 1 second. I need to have the chat so I can see it while I'm browsing. Because in this sort of video, or this sort of stream, seeing your real-time feedback is going to be important. Okay. A trippy kind of fuzz. All right, we'll look at fuzzes right after we finish with the Chase Bliss stuff. And you said the lo-fi lossy. Do they have the lo-fi lossy? Generation loss. Onward. I think the Onward's new. Habitat. Warped vinyl. Hi-fi analog vibrato chorus. That sounds awesome. Okay. What I'm going to do is Dark World, that's the reverb. All right, we're going to stay away from reverbs right now. We'll get out of the reverbs. Onward. Now, what is the Chase Bliss Onward? Onward is a sampler controlled by your playing. It moves when you do, capturing the sounds you make to create musical landscapes. That sounds like something I would never purchase. So we're going to add it to the list. Because I'm a simple man, but who knows? Like I might end up loving this. All right, so I'll put the Onward on it. The mood, we'll put that on it. Marcus said that. All right, cool. All right, so we got some Chase Bliss stuff on here. Now let's look at some fuzz. Type in fuzz. We'll see what options we have. Let's see what you guys are saying. The Chase low. Okay, you got that. The generation loss is the other one I'd like. Confession, you've never liked fuzz. You've played the wrong ones, because I was the same way for a long time. I'm picky on fuzz, but some of them I'm not a big fan of. My favorite all-time fuzz is the Full Tone 70, the original issue of that. Okay. I've tried all these Dunlops. I'll be honest with you. If there are any that jump out at you guys here, type it in the chat. So we got a bunch of JHS. We got B-Tronics. That was one that was recommended. Now, what there are so many of these. I don't even know where to start. Okay, so Royal Jelly is an overdrive / fuzz octahive. I mean, that's probably an octave fuzz, I would assume by the name. Okay. Royal Jelly, a substance secreted by... Okay, let's get out of the BS. Let's just get to the... Overdrive fuzz blender, like no other. Cover ground from overdrive to fuzz, running 2 circuits in parallel. Oh, so you can blend. What do you guys think? That Beatronics, or we should go for a different Beatronics? And I think it's worth just kind of repeating here. We're not going to get all these. We're only going to get one. So, all right, that's the end of that. And what was the other one somebody else said before I do that? Fuzz War. See, this is my kind of pedal because it's got 3 knobs on it. It's $180, brand new. Grungy, nasty fuzz and extreme gain. That sounds wild. Let's get, hold on. All right, let me see here. The Benson Germanium. I actually put the Benson preamp for sale, if you can believe that. I like the Halcyon Gold. A bit better. And another pedal, a little bit better too. And when used with the Protein. I feel like the Benson was a perfect match for the Tone King, and now that I don't have the Tone King, I'm not liking it as much. Beatronics kind of amuses me in the sense that a lot of people rave about these. Hold on. It's up to you to choose between an indie rock lead, a bass synth, or a Super Mario Brothers sounding theme. All right, that's the one. We'll add that to the list. All right. I hear Super Mario, and I'm all about it. All right. Cool. Okay, so fuzz. Now, what effect do you guys want to look at next? Or is there a brand you guys want to look at next? Because if there's a specific brand or anything like that, let me know. We'll add it on, and we'll go from there. Trems? All right, we could do trems. Tremolo. See, this is fun, isn't it? And I was gonna do this on my own anyways, but it's. I thought it would be different to not just open up the stream in our normal way and instead, include you guys in this. What I really want, I'd love an analog one. Let's see. Okay, so we got... I've had the Keeley Caverns. That's a really nice one. Oh, look at this. If I was in the highest tier, I could just borrow a Princeton. That's pretty freaking remarkable. That's actually nuts. I didn't even realize you could borrow amps that expensive. That's insane. Okay. Yeah. Guess you learn something new every day. Let me see. The Hummingbird Repeat Percussions. See, I like Earthquaker Devices already because I have one of their pedals, and I think it's awesome. So let's see what this one's all about. This one's got... You can change the rate. You can... Oh, that's really cool. You can alter the filters on it. Nightwire. What is harmonic tremolo? You tell me, bud. You tell me. Okay, that's looking like a candidate. That's looking like a candidate. Let's catch up, see what you guys are saying. Hey, Steve, how you doing? I know you're doing you're working on your Harley Benton video, and we'll be all right. And I don't know if you saw my message before. I'm not gonna put anybody on blast. The person that you linked me, but yeah, no, that person clearly buys views and subscribers. Because there's no comments, no interaction, and no views on videos that are not gear reviews. So don't try to, and in general, when you're making a YouTube video, don't worry about what's going to get you the most views. That's not a good way to do it. Okay, you got a wah yesterday, Bradford? Behringer Hell, babe. Okay, the Aqueduct, you're saying? The Aqueduct. Where is the Aqueduct? Where is the aqueduct? Okay, there's the aqueduct. So vibrato. Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks cool. Let's add it. All right, so that's on the list. Awesome. I have a Princeton. You can borrow it. No, we're good. We're good. I got the Z Plus. I don't actually need a Princeton amp. We're good. How about the brand that shall not be mentioned on this channel? I'm not a big fan. I love the look of that one. I haven't seen that pedal. Yeah, I kind of. I'm not gonna air dirty laundry here, but we were supposed to work together on something, and we just didn't, and I didn't like the way that they handled it. Just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, so I'm not gonna go for that brand. Anyway, Dunlop AT95. Let's type that in. AT95. Sorry, but nothing matched your terms. Looks like you're out of luck, my friend. That's not good. Let's add one more. Let's add this guy too. See, now I'm gonna screw up though, because really I want to try the Chase Bliss. I could easily buy one of these pedals and it's gonna be good. Yeah, no, we'll add one trim. We'll add one trim. Okay, get out of the comfort zone. What kind of effect have you never tried? That's why I want to try the Chase Bliss stuff, personally, because it is completely like random. All right, so let's go to pedals and amplifiers. What's something that is just wild? Looking at Bit Crusher? No. Multi-effects pedals or processors? We'll click on multi-effects and processors. Maybe we'll find something wild in there. Or we will just find a Tone Master. The Mood. Yeah, that's the one I want. And it's already on my borrow list. If you guys are watching this, please, this is the one I want. I should just remove everything else. We'll do the Mood, and then we'll get to something after. The Quad Cortex? Seriously? That's wild. The H90. The H90 is something that I think is really cool. Very digital, obviously. But I know people rave about this. Oh my god, these are $900? I could borrow this? Thank you. Carrying on. But I mean, somebody like me doing this stuff, I'm not gonna get that. I'm simply not gonna get that under any other circumstance. So that's amazing that I have the opportunity to do that. That's so cool. And then the Helix stuff, which we have. All right, there's another page. H9 Max. I want to try this at some point. The Night Sky from Strymon, but I'm gonna save that. All right, let's see here. Chase Bliss 20 pot pedals are definitely wild. Yeah, they're all wild. The Mood does seem cool. I just feel like the Mood is the most out of my comfort zone. So I think it has the most potential to get something that you guys haven't heard a million times out of my playing. And that's kind of the problem with doing YouTube. Sometimes like I like what I like. And if I like a sound, there are certain kind of riffs or styles I end up playing. And part of me, I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like it gets redundant. Like I'm playing the same sort of stuff over and over again. So something really different, I feel, would be something worth looking into. Okay, so we'll try one more thing here before we get out of here. And then we'll look at what we got. We'll look at loop pedals and samplers. Because I would never click on samplers, just being honest. And yeah, that brings us on to Chase Bliss. Slicer, the Canyon delay and looper. I don't need just a delay and looper because we have the Volante. I'm looking for something a bit more crazy. Hologram Electronics Microcosm. What are you? What are you? What do you do? Adventurous musicians. Yeah, okay. Cascading microloops can be locked into tight, tempo synced rhythms, diffused into glacial ambient textures, woven into hypnotic drones, and much more. 11 ground-breaking effects allow you to slice, stretch, rearrange, and manipulate your playing and music. This sounds like a lot. This sounds like a lot. Oh man, this is... Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of buttons, a lot of switches. Maybe next month. We'll see how I do with the Chase Bliss. All right, cool. All right, so wrapping things with this section, then we'll get to the regular stream. Let's see what's on the list so far, and we'll remove some stuff to try and get it so that we get to Chase Bliss. All right, so the Halcyon, that's going back. That one's not part of this. So I put a few Chase pedals on here. Let's make the mood the priority. That's our priority. That's pretty cool too. I can do this. I chose the Gravitas analog trem from them. The Warped Hi-Fi analog vibrato chorus. That actually sounds really dope too. The Onward. The Looper delay pedal. You know what? We'll spare that one. We'll remove that one because there's enough Chase Bliss on here anyways. The Beatronics fuzz, the Aqueduct, and the H9 harmonizer. All right. So of these 7 pedals, I think this is how we're going to do it. Now, me prioritizing this does not mean I'm going to get it. Does not mean I'm going to get it. I could get sent anything. And if I didn't hit priority, it would literally just be whatever one. Because that's how I ended up with the origin effects. I didn't order them. I didn't put the preference on any of them. I just said, send me whatever. And we ended up with the origin. And I seriously love that thing. And I'm really happy I got to try that company out. So that's going to wrap up this part of the stream. Now we'll go back to normal though. Thank you. And again, if you're watching this on a replay, leave a comment if there's something that we missed or you're interested in seeing. And we'll go from there. Ta-da! Now I can load up the regular chat. Okay, cool. Slicer would be cool. They're kind of random. Yeah, I like random stuff. I like random stuff, and I don't know. I like companies that are like cool. And some of them I've never owned any of their stuff or contacted them. But some of them, like, you take one chance, and then all of a sudden you're like, first of all, this company makes amazing stuff. Like the first time I tried Strymon, I always thought Strymons were comically overpriced. And I didn't get it at all. But the first time I got my Flint, the original Flint, I said, oh, I get it. And then not too soon later after that, I got the El Capistan. And both of those went, but I've had the Volante and the Zelza now for years. Years. And I've not considered replacing them with anything else. Because they're just excellent. And they take a beating. You really get what you pay for. So I do like, you know, being turned on to a brand and being like, oh man, this is awesome. And now I feel that way about Origin effects. Because you could feel when a pedal is cheap. You could feel it in your hands. Oh no, I didn't click the button fast enough. I apologize. I like the fact that the Origin stuff's made in the UK, just like the Strymon stuff's made in the United States of America. It's not just stuff being outsourced. And I believe the Chase Bliss, I think those are made in the People's Republic of China. I'm not positive on that, but I believe that's where they're made. Doesn't make it a deal breaker. But I do like high quality stuff that is absolutely built to last. It could take a beating and is made, you know, and employing people in the countries in which the companies are based out of. I think that's always a good sign. And I like to support people that do that. Okay, guys. So, what do you guys want to talk about? Really, I only really wanted to talk about that because I have been, as you can see, I got the room set up. I got the drums up. I still have a hernia, so I'm not playing super hard. But I'm playing, I'm able to play to the point where I can do some rough tracking and be able to make some stuff for YouTube. And that's a lot of fun. And I've been selling a lot of guitars with more listed. It's felt great. And my philosophy kind of branching off of what I just said about like Origin and Strymon, right? Like quality stuff built right. I think I've taken like that philosophy much more with the guitars that I keep for myself. Like there's nothing, and not many of the guitars I have were like bad guitars, right? But as far as like, I don't think specs matter worth a damn on low-end guitars. I think it's all just hype and BS. And I say that liking some brands that offer some of these like high-end specs things and all of that. And I've said a lot of good things. And I know a lot of people, when I say that, the first thing they're going to think of, oh, he's mad at Harley Benton or whatever. It's a Harley Benton. It's like, no, dude. Like, I really think that Harley Benton make on that price range, I don't think anybody really beats them in my experience. But it doesn't connect to being like on a guitar, the last one at least, the ST Modern. It didn't work for me to the extent where I was like, oh, like I don't care where this is made, whatever, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Otherwise, I'd have only ever played American guitars. I would have never tried Japan. It would have been great if that really worked out, especially at the price with that guitar. But it's not there. Some guitars have it, some guitars don't. And I would rather have less instruments right now and know that each one is like so good to me and I like so much that it's like, yeah, what does it matter? Fine. Like, I'm going to live without a Jaguar for a while. I don't care. I'll deal with it. Right now I got 3 Jazzmasters in the house. I'll make do. It's not the same, but it kind of is what it is. Yeah, and what's funny, JP, it's on the other side, because when I was 16, I had the same exact hernia. I had the same exact thing happen when I was 16 years old, and I had to go to surgery for it. And I was playing with my kid before we left Fort Myers, and I felt it. We were jumping up and down like maniacs. We're dancing to some Pokemon songs, and just having fun. And I felt it, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm old. Like, I used to jump like 15 stairs on a skateboard and take like 50 attempts to land it. But no problems. Now I'm old. I don't do stuff like that anymore. And simply jumping stationary up and down is enough for my body to say, injury, call the doctor. He needs help. You probably like the music? Well, I've worked on some stuff. If you want to hear, I produced a record where I played guitar on it and I did drum arrangements. That record is Chris Gisano, It Takes Time. It's a poppy record. It's pretty good. As far as like, that was a fun process because all he sent me when we decided to work together was an acoustic guitar and his singing. That's it. And then everything else was just like a blank slate for me to work with. So we turned it into full band arrangements. And Dave Nelson helped out with some of that stuff as well. That was a lot of fun. I'm really proud of that. And then outside of that, I have some stuff I've done with my band Day to Day. Some of that's posted on YouTube. I don't have anything posted on Spotify. I'm very anti-Spotify. And even with the stuff that I've done like for YouTube, I have all those like as songs. What I need to do is just upload them onto the website. You guys could just listen to them or download them or do whatever you want with it. Because some of them ended up being a few minutes long and have full instrumentation on them. But yeah. And I have the latest record that we did with Day to Day is mastered and all of that. But I need paperwork signed on his end for copyright. And he is in San Diego, California. I'm here. And he's not like me. He's never home. He runs, I think, 3 different businesses at this point. He became like a huge success. And he is just constantly traveling. So just trying to get even in contact with him is difficult. And right now, this is very low priority to him. And understandably so. He's got businesses to run. It's funny saying that because it's the same guy that, like, you know, he lived on my couch for a while, and we moved out to San Diego together to try and make a band, and we did. Played some fun, had some good shows, made some surf music, made some rock music, but I'll upload another one of the day-to-day songs this weekend. Why don't we do that? Yeah, I'll upload another one. Now we'll go from there. You had that surgery? Yeah, that surgery, it is what it is. I'll probably have to have it at some point. Jumping off a curb is rough, dude. It really is. And it's funny, like, you feel like, oh, yeah, I'm the same. I could do all this crazy stuff. And then something like that happens, and you realize how fragile your body gets when you're out of the groove and all that. And you just get old. You get older, and your body's just not as durable as it used to be. You know, I'm watching prime athletes in Copa America and the Euros go down in their late 30s, and I'm like, get up. Meanwhile, they're in, like, peak physical top 1% condition of all human beings, and I can't jump up and down listening to Pokemon music without I'd have to be stretchered off the field. It's just kind of funny when you put things into perspective, you know what I mean? But yeah, Stan, I'm doing a refresh of the entire website. Long story short, the audiomomusic.com website, and I'm gonna upload a lot more of the music directly onto that. Because if I'm not gonna put it on Spotify, I'm gonna put it somewhere, and I have it, so I might as well put it up, and we'll go from there. But in the meantime, let me see Apple Music if I can search Chris. Okay, hold on. Posting it in the chat. There you go. So I fully produced this record. And did the guitars and drums and bass, stuff like that. And helped with the arrangements. That was a fun one. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. Anyways, so. Ooh. Sorry. I'm a cluster today, if you can't tell. And I basically only came prepared to want to do that different part of the stream. Where we checked out what they had available at Buyer Bar Music and figure out what we're going to borrow next. And I got to tell you, I ended up with one of these. They liked my video on the Halcyon Gold. And they said, hey, will you do the same thing for a different pedal? And I said, is there anyone that, you guys are interested in going after or promoting rather? And this is the MEQ driver. So for this one, this is going to have a full song to it, because with a lot of stuff in isolation, you're going to get a really good idea if you like a pedal or not. But with this one, you don't really realize how valuable this is as a tool unless you're either playing it with other instruments like in person, or you're tracking and you're putting it into a mix. And then you're like, oh my God, I cannot, I have to have this pedal on. And somebody like Greg, who's really familiar with, outboard gear and studio stuff like that, you know what this is based off. This is based off of Pultec. And the fact that they kind of narrowed the free frequencies that you can pick from to frequencies that are applicable to guitar so that it boosts those mids out. It's like having a little MIDI Pultec in my pedal board, and I absolutely adore it. And I can't wait to share the song that's going on for that. It's going to be a little bit not so slow and jammy, I guess, kind of stuff, where that's more my wheelhouse. It's going to be a little more drive involved, a little bit more of an aggressive track is how it's shaping up to be. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, I don't know. And less is more, I guess. So I ended up liking this so much that, again, I'm selling the Benson preamp, the flower one. Less is more. You don't need to have one of everything. Unless it's a Jazzmaster or it's a Telecaster. But I sold the pink one too. Okay. Let me just start something today. Real quick. Are you... This is more of a survey of all of you. Are you currently in a band and actively performing or recording? I know some of you are. Or are you just doing this all solo and just kind of having fun with it that way? Because if I, based on that, I can help tailor how I approach videos. You know what I mean? Because to me, like, there's been a lot of stuff, like, I've honestly assumed since the lockdown, if you weren't in a band, I don't know why this is, but I feel like a lot of people either got back into guitar or they became obsessed with, like, all the YouTube stuff because of it, because it was something to do and it was something interesting and it wasn't just the news telling you that you were going to die every 5 minutes or not to leave your house. A lot of the people that got really into it at that time or back into it aren't in bands. And so when it came to product demos or stuff like that, anytime I've had a full band arrangement involved with it, or I've tried to break down why something works that way with a pedal or with a guitar or an amp, they do terribly on YouTube. They do terribly. Whereas if I were to take the same exact product and just format it in a straight up isolated guitar sense and just let you hear different sounds, those videos do so much better. Same thing goes for the guitars themselves. If I format it where the guitar is the main thing and like the only thing, and there's no actual music to it, then that seems to be what people want more. So I ask you this question, not just to figure out where you guys are at, but what you would rather see. Would you rather see stuff like that? Or would you rather, maybe less videos, but more music in the videos? Like actual music. Because that stuff takes time, and I got to track all the instruments myself. You know what I mean? Momstein disagrees. Mom's, I'll tell you this. There's one guitar you guys haven't seen. Only one person has seen that I have this guitar that follows this YouTube channel. It's not like a friend of mine, right? After everything sells that I have for sale right now, there are only 3 guitars left in life I want. Like, at some point, a vintage Jaguar. Or if I found the right JG66 that wasn't at a price that makes me like want to throw up in my mouth. Something like that. Like a really nice lightweight or vintage American Jaguar. Same thing for a Mustang. And then what I learned about myself and my preferences is when I had the Harley Benton ST Modern and I had the Corey Wong Strat, I actually kind of liked the idea of a modern guitar. I just hated both I didn't hate. I didn't like the Harley Benton, I'll just be honest. And I really didn't like the neck shape on it. But the idea is there. Of the kind of compound radius with the single humbucker setup, 2-point trem system on it. Something from like a high-end brand, not Fender. And the Corey Wong one, the neck was just too thin on it. So a brand that's not Fender, a higher-end modern Super Strat. And that's it. That's it. I have more than, and if I never got those 3 guitars, I have more than enough to be able to have no excuses to make all the music in the world. That's just the reality of it. Sometimes when we're buying so much crap, when it's not just for YouTube, for demoing it, when you're just buying stuff for yourself. Like last night I was looking around because I was trying to gauge market pricing for something else I was going to sell, the Benson preamp. And I found myself thinking like, oh, well, is there anything I should be looking at right now? Is there anything new? And then I thought, why? What do I actually need? Do I need an amp? No. My amp's awesome. I have the captor, so that solves silent recording. That's awesome. I got some really good mics for recording guitar. If I want to do it that way, that's great. I have a killer drive pedal with the Protein. I got the killer mid booster, which also acts as a drive with this thing. Got the Belante for delay. I got reverb from the Dr. Z, and that amp is just as good as you're going to get for this style of Fender amp. Fender sounding amp. And then I thought about the guitars. I'm like, if I got, say I found one of those like story guitars that you hear about, the BS on the internet. Oh, I walked into a pawn shop and they had a totally mint, it was under some old lady's closet, 1963 Fender Jaguar. We don't know. We'll take like $500 for it. Outside of something like that, even if that was the case and I stumbled upon that, would any of that make me better? Would any of that encourage me or enable me to do more as far as creating music? Not creating YouTube videos, creating music. What would do that? The answer is nothing. The answer is nothing. The answer is just freaking doing it. And having less guitars, that's part of the reason I was okay with it. And it was, people are like, how can you sell the 339 and some of the Jaguars and the other guitars and the Telly? I sold the pink Telly. That only made it in the one video. Because the less I have to worry about, the better at this point. I haven't been productive. Not in the ways that I want to be. So I have to take steps to address it. That's all. Let me see. Pultec might be cool on the board. Yeah, you got the UA stuff. I think it would be fun. Well, the thing I like about this more than some of the UA stuff, I think the UA stuff as straight up compressor, like the 1176 one, that's really good. The adapt on this with the drive combination to it, I've never played any brand that has this level of adapt, whether it was on this or the Halcyon Gold, that did a 2-for-1 for me. Whereas I don't need a drive pedal and that. Because as I soften up my pick attack, it cleans up so well. I don't know how they do this wiring. I'm a fool with circuits. I don't pretend to be smart. But all I know is whatever they do with that is genius. Because it works so well. Like, I love that pedal, and I love the Halcyon Gold. They're great. If I get nothing else from them ever in my entire life, as far as like buying a pedal, I'm more than happy, and they've already done more than enough for me, as just like a customer. You know what I mean? But the Max would be the one I would want to try out of your 3 UA pedals, because I know that has a little bit more to it. Audiomo Music has a 63 custom shop. Is that the one in Desert Sand? It's kind of an off finish. Maybe build your own modern HSS strap. Then you could pick exactly what you want. Though the neck could be tricky. The neck is the tricky part. Because there's some options with that. And I actually saw at the Guitar Mill. Because I like to look at what they have available in stock. Because sometimes like they discount stuff like crazy. And Mario Martin, the guy who owns Guitar Mill, he doesn't use cheap stuff. So they're using high quality wood and they're using awesome finishes on them. They had like a Galaxy finished, and it was like a purple/black with like all these weird colors. Jaguar body, alder, that only weighed 4 pounds. The body itself was $560. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of money for a Jag. So just the body. I didn't do it. And it's impossible to find a good Jaguar neck. Strat neck is difficult. Jaguar, impossible. So I don't want to go down that route again. But for a Strat's possible. Greg, I'm not ever buying from that brand. I'm not interested. And if I'm gonna go to a super Strat, I'd rather go to Sir. I'd rather go to LSL. I'd rather go to Exotic. Maybe Ricardo Sanchez. Like, there's a lot of good options out there. And again, I for many years I lived 15 minutes away from the people you mentioned. Good morning, Evan. How are you? Hey, Daniel. Sorry you're late. You've been using the new Ninja air fryer? Oh, dude. We're healthy in this house. Outside of this, and I know it makes me a hypocrite because you're always seeing me drinking one of these Mexican Coca-Colas. This is my vice. Since I quit drinking, this is like my not so healthy thing. But we cook healthy. We always get our meat locally and all that stuff and fresh veggies. I miss chicken wings in a deep fryer, and we were having this talk the other day. I'm like, if we did it just once a month, we changed the oil. We only used it once. We could do it. I think I might have my wife on board with it, but that just reminded me. Freaking love chicken wings, and for whatever reason, restaurants can't cook them right. They don't understand the term crispy. They either come out soggy, or just burnt, like to a crisp, like burnt, or you're biting into char. Finding story guitars is even more rare these days thanks to resources online. Even lame pawn shops can do a minimal amount of research. Yeah, well, that kind of takes the magic out of it. And Mark Clifford, you're a perfect example for knowing that because you shop smart. You go to the Goodwills. You troll Craigslist. You go to the pawn shops. That's how you're going to find that. Hold on. Stop it. I stopped at that time. No ads. But yeah, you're right. They're harder to come by. And ever since now, you can just load it up on your phone and go to Reverb. If you don't know what it is, you can figure out what it is. And in a worst case scenario, actually, you could see a listing from a shop that's insane with their pricing. We all know a few of those. And then you think, oh, that's what mine's worth. And now you're listing it locally to a very tiny amount of people at a price that it won't even sell for, given the fact that the United States can see it as well. Oh, man. One thing I wasn't counting on when playing live is how noisy singles coil. Oh, yeah, they're noisy. Single coils are so noisy, and now most venues still have pretty crappy electrical systems in them. But some newer ones don't. When I was playing in the late 90s, and I had the JV that had the vintage red bobbin Fender USA Fullerton pickups in them, they were too loud. And I was like, these are worthless. I'm like, I can't play the show. It's too noisy. It's too distracting. So I sold them. And that's why I ended up playing noiseless pickups in that guitar for a long time. But you're right. Now I'm bitter because I would kill to have those pickups back. Might be a build your own HSS Strat over time, so as it pieces together. Yeah, no, that would be really fun, man. Yeah, that'd be really fun. Mexican Coke sponsorship? Oh, dude, I would take that. Dude, there are some sponsorships. YouTube, man, they're just as bad as, like, the Amazon. Like, I get these emails, dude. Some of the stuff that people, like, send me to review on YouTube, it's insane because none of it makes any sense. One of it was, like, a roll-up back warming device. I think that was the one yesterday. I get pillow advertisements all the time. A luggage one, and then all sorts of like gardening stuff. And I'm like, do you guys know what like my YouTube channel is? Like, what the hell? How am I gonna plan any of this? This isn't gonna work. But now YouTube does the same thing. YouTube is recommending me. Oh, if you push Ulta products, and if you don't know what Ulta is, it's makeup. So like if you push this, you get like a 26% commission. And I'm like, well, 26% commission is awesome. So I tell my wife, I'm like, you want to make some videos on the channel? Can they take advantage of some of this Ulta stuff? Because Sweetwater's giving me 4%, and Tolman's giving me 26%. So I don't know. I've just been, it's just been funny because I was looking at it too, and like one place that like it doesn't make sense, but it kind of does, is Lowe's. I could apply to work with Lowe's and have them send me something for $600 or less. We could build something cool in here for $600 and like make a DIY thing. I think that's cool. That would be fun and not just like selling out. Something fun. Plus, isn't really selling out if you're making a living for your family. I don't know. I've gotten older. I've changed. I've become the man. Or the suit, rather. Humbucker venue. I'm going to use that. That's nice. Problem is the oil you use. Most people use canola. No, I don't. I don't use canola. The only oil that we use in this house would probably be super overkill, and I don't even think it would work for deep fryer because of the smoke point, is avocado oil. We do tiny dabs of avocado oil on the grill, and then tiny dabs into the cast iron when needed. But most of the time we don't do that. That's mainly for steaks and stuff like that. There we go. That's what I like about the Player One Jazzmaster. Humbucker Jazzmaster could be useful. Or take it easy, Evan. Thanks for popping in and getting me off on an angry tangent at myself. Still gassing on the Murphy Lab 58 ES335. Had a hard time on what to sell to get it. Sold the Gretsch 5420 to a buddy because I know where it is to get it back. That's genius. Smart way to do it. Sell it to a friend. As long as it's a good friend. I had that burn me once. I hooked up a buddy of mine with an ES335. This is when I was just starting to buy and sell guitars. And Craigslist was still really good. And I got him an ES335 with the hard shell case for, I think, $1,000. And I told him to look at the prices of them. And he knew that, like, I just basically helped him sell it. I'm like, I know you want one of these. So, you know, I'm like, I'm not going to buy it because I can make money selling this. I'm like, but I know you want one. So here's the information. Here's the guy's number. He went and bought it. He decided a little while later he's going to sell it. And I was just like, well, I'll buy it off of you. Because at that time, I wanted 335. I didn't have mine yet. And then he tried selling it to me for like triple the price. Because the boom had started. And I was just like, you're joking, right? Like, you realize you only got that guitar for that price. And I know what you paid for it because I saw the listing. And I'm the one that told you to go buy it that way. And he still tried to triple his money off of his friend that got him the guitar to begin with. Doesn't always work out for you. Being nice isn't always the best policy. But taught me an important lesson. That person wasn't really a friend. You like the noiseless pickups in your Mexican Tele, which is one reason I grabbed it first when going out to jam with people. But using noiseless live and regular single coil in the studio is the best. I agree with you 100%. And honestly, of what I'm going to have left, it's more humbuckers than single coils. I'm going to have the Strat, the One Tele, and the Jazzmaster. That's it for single coils. Everything else is going to be humbuckers. So, I don't know. Changing a little bit. Coconut oil is flammable. Yes, it is. There's a person in your area selling a messed up JG... Oh, I hate to hear this. Messed up JG66 for cheap. You're very tempted to mod it into something high gain. Maybe... Oh, man. Well, Daniel, if it's already destroyed, then give it... You do what you want to do with it. It'll be your guitar at the end of the day. But if it's not destroyed, I don't advise you guys destroy nice guitars like that. Don't do that. Please. Or order one of the players and mangle a Mexican guitar. Don't mangle a nice Japanese one. You just ordered the TC Voice Live 3. After hearing Aaron Short talk about it for one of his soloist gigs the last few years. That's really cool. Rex, let me know how that works out live for you when you get it. And how are you going to work that into your whole rig with the console and all that? Let me know. Air fryers use veg or oil for their highest smoke points. Now back to the guitar stuff. Oh my god. There's certain words you can't say on YouTube. Even though it's technically not a bad word, the one word that's a part of that word is not a word that you can say. Let's check on the poll. We got 17 votes. If you've not voted already, I'd like to hear where you're at with this. Are you currently in a band and actively performing/recording? 29% say yes. 50%. Actually, you got one more vote. 33% say yes. 50% say no. 17 are trying to get into a band and make it happen. I don't judge anybody that's not in a band. And I don't give you extra brownie points if you are in a band. It's just curiosity's sake. Curiosity's sake. Because you don't need to be in a band to be a band. You kind of just have to know how to either program drums or play drums. You can make it work, though. And that's how I'm rolling right now. I'm going to be the one-man band, minus the singer. I think it'll take... I don't know. I don't want to put any strange stuff into the universe. A lot of crazy stuff's happening in the world lately. It would take a major thing for me to sing. I don't like singing. I don't like singing. Never have. But then I really would be a full band if I could do it. All right, guys. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing something where you're going to be testing your ears. And that's going to be blind sound comparisons. We're going to be comparing a digital reverb plugin with the actual reverb from the Dr. Z. We're seeing how close the digital one gets, and if you can guess which one is which. I love these sorts of videos because they're always good food for thought. Instead of just, this is this, and this sounds so good. Why don't we just compare it, and you listen with your ears instead of me telling you which one is which, and you come to your own conclusions. Maybe you will prefer the digital one. It's possible. It's happened in the past. So that should be fun. And then, yeah, I'll post a song this weekend. We'll go from there. Last question. Curious if you've ever tried one of the GNL custom shops. Never tried a custom shop. Regular USA line, I have. Custom shop, I have not. Also, to those of you that are still in here, Steve streams in, I believe, 2 hours. Steve Cassidy. Go check out his channel. And he's going to be doing the Harley Benton video. You want his take on it? I know what it is, but I won't spoil it for you. Enjoy that, I'm assuming, over the next week or two. Thank you all. I'll see you on the next one. Adios.